Hey you guys, it's Dani. Your girl is cold today. I am so cold. I have like two shirts on. I'm about to press something on this shirt, but I was so cold that I just had to put it on because life. So, I got my coffee. I am ready to sit and dive into this deck. I know you guys have seen the title already and the thumbnail and all that good stuff, I'm assuming. We're about to go into the Citadel. I am hyped. Okay, so Liminal 11 sent the Seed and Sickle to me in the limited edition. And in that limited edition was this Citadel deck. Love this design, hexagon. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, hexagon, right? Magnetic box with our foiled cards. Can you see that good? We're going to do top down when we get here, but foiled cards, beautiful for the Citadel. And I was obsessed. We have our little guidebook that has all of our info for each card. Obsessed. But then I saw the full version and freaked out. I was so excited. And so Liminal 11 contacted me and was like, hey, would you like to take a look at this deck? And I'm like, yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Listen, that limited edition of the Citadel deck that they're coming out with, I'm a little obsessed. I kind of want it real bad. But just having this in my hands, hella excited. If you guys watched my unboxing of that, you'll know how just jazzed I am about the Citadel deck. So we're going to look at these side by side. Now, we'll open it together and then I'll take the time to put these in order, in the same order as this one. So I will probably have looked through the cards. But we're going to open it together and kind of do a quick little look. And then I'll do that. And then we'll look at everything side by side. Sound good? Okay. I'm so excited. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, you guys. I apparently didn't film the first time I went through this whole thing and saw it for the first time. I didn't realize this until a few days later. Imagine my surprise when I realized there's no video. That's okay. I am missing a nail. Like, it's been a day, but it's fine. It's totally fine because we still have the Citadel. Okay, so now we're going to go into looking at it. I've already seen it. I'll put it back in order. And now we just get to talk about it. Like, fair warning, I don't have much negative to say, if anything, because I was a huge fan of the Citadel deck originally when Liminal 11 sent me this one in the Seed and Sickle limited edition. Became obsessed. Loved it. This, even better. Even better. Okay, so let's talk about the box first and foremost. So we have the hexagon box for the old one that has this really great magnetic closure. I love it. We have our little guidebook and our cards here, which are in the same shape. Look, I'll leave this out so we can talk about these later. So we have them in the hexagon shape. These are the backs. So, of course, there's not as many of these as there are of these, but we're going to show side by side the cards together and see some of the changes and stuff that happened in the new one. So, let's talk about the new one now. Okay, so it is in the standard Liminal 11 box. We have all of this. I was almost going to say gold, but it's not. It's almost like copper. It's like a coppery color foil. We have the Citadel here. This is by Fez Ink, right? I'm sorry, Fez. We have some of the cards on the sides. a little blip here, but it does say on the back, bonus guide for use with tabletop games. Y'all, I want to play a tabletop game with this so bad. So bad. But it does have some bonus tabletop game rules. This is 60 cards, foiled with a guidebook, and it's a nice guidebook. Ooh, I almost dropped it. And here's another card. Okay, so bottom, you know they always do this really nice. So awesome. Oh, and another change that we have that this deck had, but this one kind of expanded on, were the suits. This one had 3 suits. They were named differently than these, but this one is based on the elements and the different types of archetypes that are in there. I'll read it to you when we get started. So this is how it's all packaged in there. We have the book, and then we have this. I had totally forgot, y'all. My jaw hit the floor. I completely forgot that these are cut cards. Like, the shape is different. We have the clouds and stuff on the inside and another kind of bed to sit the cards in because of the way that they're shaped. Watch, I want to show you this inside too. It's so pretty. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's an eye in the center and then all these like cloud-like shapes. I just love all the patterning. I know most people are like, I don't care, Dani, show me the deck. I'm like, I know, but the packaging. I'm always a fan. I like a good patterning. Okay. Pop this in. I'm gonna put these side by side. You can already see there's a lot more black in the cards. Like, you can see the hands are black here, a little bit different. We'll get into the cards in just a sec. This is the back. We have our elements in the center, so they are reversible if you so choose. But look at this guidebook. Look how meaty this is. And it's not a hardcover, and I really appreciate that. While I love the aesthetic and like the idea of a hardcover booklet, even Game of Thrones had them. Look, I have one right here. Like, Game of Thrones had the hard guidebook like Liminal 11 usually does. I just don't have a Liminal 11 deck anywhere around me. But this one is a soft cover, and I am here for it. Beautiful colored pages. We'll go into this later, but they have some really cool spreads, you guys. Really cool spreads, especially if you are going to play a game with it. Like, anyway, we'll get there. But there's a quick reference guide, but you can see here. So we have the court, which is achievement and responsibility. Okay. Then we have the academy, which is development and growth. We have the crowd, which is community, hard work. And then the troop, which is internal thoughts and identity. So those are the different kind of suits for our cards. Put this aside and we will go into that at the end. For now, let's get up close and personal. All right, here we go. Okay, so first and foremost, we have keywords on the cards. Hallelujah. Now, don't get me wrong, I carry my little booklet because on this one, we do have a quick reference guide. So like, I can look at the aspirant and see ambition, setting and reaching goals, an incoming difficulty, or I can see here ambition, diligence, setbacks. So I still had everything I needed here, but oh my God, I like this so much better. Oh my gosh. I'm still like in like the giggly honeymoon stage with this thing. I love it so much. And okay, I know we're going to get into this, but I'm real excited. I really wished you guys could have seen my initial walkthrough and all of my first impressions. I was probably still a bumbling idiot, but oh my gosh, I had so much fun. I did a full reading for it, and I'll do it for you guys again. So I'm curious to see how this one is going to be and how this read is going to be, because with the reading that I did the other day when I had my initial sit down with this deck, it was so good. Like everything flowed so well, because a lot of times people think about decks like these either to use for tabletop games or just as an archetype. So they'll pick one, or all the special, you know, spreads that come with it. But I just did a 3-card, what to focus, what to release, and some advice. And it flowed so well. So I can't wait to do that again. We might do like situation, obstacle, advice this time. But anyway, so they read beautifully by themselves as just Oracle. So if you're wondering if it kind of leans more towards this style, which feels a little more table game, this feels like an Oracle, and I'm obsessed. Okay, let's move on. We have the Assassin. I love all the added botanicals. If you guys follow Fez's work, she does a lot of stuff with botanicals. And I just love this artwork. The foiling is beautiful. We have only minor changes through some of these. We got things added. Oh, so we have the Catalyst. That's our first one that kind of goes off of the original. Oh, I love this card. The Diviner. Look at this incense swirl, and that is all foiled. Oh, I love that. And then we have Fate. So, love the addition of the scissors here. And I honestly like that there's not that big foil circle. I feel like we see, I don't know, it looks more dynamic this way than this way. I think this kind of blocks. But I love the needle, the thread with the scissors versus just kind of tied on the fingers. This feels more like puppetry to me. This feels like Fate. So I love that slight change. Then we have the Founder. I love the little rats and the thistles here. Love that. Then we have the Air. I love the rings. And again, the change of the plants, it's like a little more of a mature look here. This is a little more basic. Then we change the color here of the Hound and the breaking up of the sword, which always reminds me of, what is it, the Sword of Gondor from Lord of the Rings. The King, again. We see a broken sword here. All the acorns. The Poet. So beautiful. Again, I like the individual foils versus this. As beautiful as this is, I think this really flows much better. And again, that has to do a lot with the shape of the card too. I'm assuming you wouldn't really want to put that in the middle of a card like this, I don't think. With this shape, this is bigger and more accommodating for that. The Queen, I love how we have water there. The Sleeper, oh, I love how these are done, where it comes over these borders. And the borders, I mean, I say it very loosely, it doesn't feel like borders to me. They're so simplistic, and it comes in and out of the borders that it's only a suggestion. It only leads the eye in the direction that it needs to be, and, you know, expands everywhere else. The Spy Master is also a new one. I love the crow. It reminds me of Maleficent with her crow and Odin, and I like that. I like it. I was reading with a deck today, the Shadowlight Tarot, and the Queen of Swords in that card, even though she's like got the butterflies around her, she has a crow on her arm, and that reminds me of that as well. It's a really cool card if you guys have never seen it. Anyway, the Waker does the same thing, kind of popping out the top and the bottom right here. Love it. The Wise One, we have it reversed on this side. Again, I love all the flowers and all that stuff. The acolyte. I dig the black jar. It really pops. It really stands out. The alchemist. I love this new archer card. You can really see the detail in the bow. Whereas this one, I found it hard to even notice the bow. Like, I glanced at it and I was like, wait, did we have a bow in the other one? And like, I went and grabbed it. I was like, oh, no. Yeah, we did. It melted away. So this felt really dynamic. The astronomer. See, here we have the captain. And then the cartographer. Love a good map. Champion. The addition of like the red blood splotches here. Love it. The enchanter. I don't know. I feel like this is gonna sound so dumb. I feel like this one got some stank on it. You know what I mean? It's like this all grown up. Like in the cool teenage years, you know? Nobody's cooler than you. Like that's what this feels like. It just has those elements that excite me and put me in this world, even if it's just for my reading or like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It puts me in this world where I almost feel like I'm looking at a LARP, right? Or like I'm thinking of, you know, the divination in the context of characters on a board, where they are and what they're doing. And I think that that's really fun. It doesn't play for that all the time. I'm just saying, when I just flip through it, I feel like I'm in the world. I feel like I'm in the Citadel, like I'm walking around. And I think it makes it even more potent because I am currently reading, again, sidetrack, sorry. But I am reading Fairy Tale by Stephen King. It's his new book. And I'm like a little more than halfway through. And we're in a Citadel right now. And it's kind of turning in this strange way. And this is like nothing I've ever read from Stephen King. And I'm loving it where I'm at. Anyway, this is not a review for that. But I think that's why it even puts me in the mindset even more, because I'm being immersed in this world right now. Or a world like it, you know? Anyway. The guide. I love this key in the background, like wallpaper or whatever. The orator. Oh, I love it. Very Shakespearean. The patron. I love this card. I love the idea of a patron. Someone who is like, you know, mentorship, finances. It's like immediately I think of this, you know, kind of older person just wanting to seek that knowledge, seek art and seek beauty in their old age, just enjoy as much as they can. So they're willing to, you know, sponsor someone or mentor someone or guide someone into making this collection of beautiful things. So I don't know. It sparks me. I love it. The priest. Well, see, we do have the big kind of crystal ball type item here. We have changed symbols on the hands. I like the addition of the eye to break it up a bit. The scholar. These hints of black really make such a huge difference. It really makes things pop out. We have the same exact things that we had before. You know, the pencils, the ink, the squares and rulers, the pen. But it's like you see everything so much clearer. Sentinel. Beautiful shields. Warrior. I love the addition of the foiling on the swords and axes and stuff. They make them stand out more so than here. I feel like in here they almost get lost in the background. And it's so funny because before I would have never noticed that it was lacking anything, but like seeing it now, I'm like, ugh. It's like, again, it's like the Big Brother. It's more refined. And we have the Botanist. I love this card. It is gorgeous. And our Forgotten. We have the red in the center, the chest. It's like the eye shut. The Gambler. Again, love this. The Hunter. I like the black eyes on this one. Again, it just like, you didn't know what was missing until you see it. You know what I mean? And again, we have the addition of some acorns here. We have oak. Looks like oak leaves. Whereas these, I think, were more generic. I think these are more specific. We have the Merchant. Beautiful apples. The Miser. How freaking cool is this one? It's like everything is kind of breaking apart. This makes me think a lot of, you know, if you can't bend, you're just going to break. It's like that kind of feel, because you got these bricks. It's like the wall was put up and so rigid, there was no give, and so it just broke apart. And that's kind of what that feels like. That inflexibility. I love the Muse because it makes me immediately think of Tyrion from Game of Thrones. The Citadel also puts me in that mode. Like, I can't help but think of that kind of world building. You know what I mean? Like the Game of Thrones world building, and kind of putting this idea into that world. That would also be really fun to do. Anyway. So, the Muse. Pathless. The Pilgrim. Ooh, these are getting all crazy over here. Sorry. I keep hitting the edges. Sailor. I like the fish crossing underneath here with those rolling waves. The Shepherd. Again, we have the dandelions now. We had two up here on this one. The Smith. I love that. The Thief. The Comb. Vengeance. Look at the frayed rope. We have our Walker. We add birds now on this one. The Adventurer. The Brawler. I love this one. The Chiromancer. The Dancer. The Herald. I love this card. Look how pretty. That hair. Love it. I love the masks. The Comedy and Tragedy. The Masquerade. The Magician. Love the Lute. This is another beautiful card. Like, it's like nothing else in the deck. The way that like the paint smears all that red. Every time I get to it, it makes me like... So here, the Summoner became the Puppeteer. So we have the same image, just different stuff here. The Runaway, with all the flowers growing outside. The door popping open. I dig that. Look at this Storyteller. How freaking cool is that? Before I forget to turn that. The Tailor. I like how we have a tailor and a weaver. Because Weaver is coming, obviously. But it kind of, one builds upon the other, you know? I like that idea, because I feel like some of these things, if you laid them out or in a reading, that can kind of tell you something as well. It's like, oh, well, we have a tailor and a weaver, so these two things must work together. You've got to put these kind of, you know, people together or situations together or whatever it is that you're reading about. It's like, oh, these are obviously tied. You can't have one without the other. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Kind of a cool idea to look at this as well. The twins. There's our weaver. We get a beautiful patterning on this one. Just like in this card, the way that the foil is done is so good. From this angle, from like sitting and reading, it looks like it would be bumpy. It looks like it would be like, what is it? Not embossed. Is it embossed? Where you lift some and you put some down, embossed. It feels like you could literally feel the little roller. You can't, but I'm just saying. That's the look it gives. That's how good the foiling is. Then we have the witch. I love the expanded moon. But we still have our, looks like wheat or some sort of flower, but it looks like wheat on the sides here. I love it. Yay! Okay. So, let's talk about shuffling. So with the old one, it wasn't too bad because there's not as many cards, right? So with the old one, you could just kind of tilt it and just kind of, you know, pop it back and forth. It wasn't the easiest thing to do, but it got your point across, you know what I mean? Definitely not the most convenient, but not terrible either. You see? Not too bad. Now, the new Kim Cran's deck, the Alchemy deck, is shaped like this, and it's much bigger. It's pretty easy to shuffle, I will say, because you can get on the sides like this and just kind of, you know, do that number. But these little cards, again, feel more like they're for a tabletop game. Like, not too much shuffling, or, you know, maybe like shuffling through, because of the, I don't want to say they're not flimsy. They're like really sturdy cardstock, but they don't feel like shuffling cards. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to describe it. But they're nice and thick. I mean, they've held up through a lot of use. I mean, you can see my poor box. I use this deck. My little sticker's coming off. And so I will say, I've shuffled them and they keep up. Not the easiest, but they keep up. But these right here, oh yes. Now, they feel very much like a standard Liminal 11. They are thicker cards. These are hardy. But again, I feel like they're made this way to withstand the use that you would get out of these. They're really easy to shuffle. I don't know if you could do it like that. I mean, I bet you could. I don't want to bend them that way too much. I don't know if I could. Let me see. No. They're a little too stiff to do it on the sides. But it works good the other way. We got a good one. Yeah, I wouldn't do a bridge. I could probably do a little one, but I don't think I will, just so I don't put a big bow in these, because I feel like they might bow after a while. But they shuffle really, really well. They'll probably spread pretty well too. I don't remember if I did it the last time, but yeah, they spread pretty well too. Okay, so let's do a comparison with the guidebooks. Let's do two. One that's new, and then we'll compare one that's older. We'll compare the guidebooks. How about that? Okay, so we have the Smith, that's new. And the Poet, that's old. Okay, whoa. Lucky ducks. Lucky ducks are we. Okay. So let me find the poet real quick. So let's get into the guidebook a little bit. I'm going to set it down here. So again, we have our little quick reading guide. The Smith is here. So we have the same thing that's on the card, overthinking and taking action. And then it goes into the foreword, word from the author. She talks about Tolkien in here. It does have that vibe. Your journey through the Citadel. So it talks about the Citadel, how it works. So right in the center of the Citadel, nestled amongst all of the other districts, is the court. Cards in this suit represent achievement and completion, yet also unbreakable bonds and a sense of ultimate responsibility. And so we have that. We have the Academy, which encircles the court. The largest circle is the crowd, and the final suit is the troop, which moves between all parts of the city. Then we have our card meanings all through here. We have a full and a reversed for every card. Then in the back, we talk about gaming with the Citadel. Oh my God. Y'all, so fun. You can build locations. There's even like how to do like your draws here. You can build it within, it's like fire, air, earth, and water, of course. But like the court would be hot, such as a desert. The Academy, hills and valleys, high up on a mountain. The crowd in the deep wilderness. So it's so rich with imagination and just like really fun ideas when it comes to how to like play with this deck, which is, I don't know, it's so exciting to me. Then we have an encounter. It tells you how to do those, how to build your characters, which to me would be the most fun. And then in-game fortune telling. Yes, please. Then we have some spreads. So these are designed to go with this. So the court, you have these, the Academy, these three. So it's like three card draws. Like, let me see if I can get that. My mouth don't want to wrap around that. It is 3 card readings, 3 of them. 3 card readings. Okay. I don't know why that was like, why does this not sound correctly? Y'all, again, I don't even have a thumbnail right now. It's been a day. The crowd, the troop, and then the Citadel, where you can put them like all together. How fun does this look? I am doing all of these spreads. I'm just letting y'all know. The sword and shield. Oh my God, Mystic fam. Maybe we should do something with this deck. Okay, anyway. This is really cool because it's 2 spreads in one. So you can do the sword, or you can do the shield, or you can put them all together. Love it. So yeah, we have complementing the tarot, which I think it really would. And then we have the gates and the castle. So we have a nice, chunky, fun guidebook. So anyway, after all that, let's go ahead and read the Smith. So the Smith here says, overthinking and taking action. All right, finally got the page number. Okay, so here we have the Smith. So this first top part says, the cold glow heat of the forge is sharp contrast to the cold of the streets outside. In the gloom of the smithy, a hammer strikes iron. Something new and beautiful is created beneath a shower of sparks. There's a rhythm to the hammer and anvil. And in their work, the smith can turn their mind away from the rest of the world and focus solely on the task at hand. They know the value of working out a plan of action before heating the metal, but they also know that overthinking it will not benefit them. The time to strike is when the iron is hot. So that's this first part. So the second part says, there's something on your mind that you've been planning for a long time, and though it may be easier to keep putting it off, the time for action is here. By continuing to overthink things, you're going to miss your opportunity. Seize the day and go get it. You'll feel so much lighter afterwards. And then reverse at the bottom. You're currently stuck in a situation that you caused yourself by rushing in without a suitable preparation beforehand. The consequences of your impulsive actions are starting to catch up with you, but you can't blame others for them. It's time to admit that you're at fault here and learn from this for your next time. You're the problem. It's you. So that is the Smith. So we get something that kind of goes with our story element and then our oracle element. So now let's go to the poet. Oop, I think I'm going the wrong way. The poet in the old one. So it says the poet. Social relationships showing vulnerability. Here it says just relationships, vulnerability. A flash of embroidered silk, a wave of a hand, a voice as clear as a bell. The poet is life itself, pure and undulated. People flock to them. And so too are they drawn to people, wearing a cloak of laughter, music, and unfaltering charm. You're surrounded by a network of friends and family, but like the poet, you've worn plenty of different masks to get here. Don't be afraid to show people the true face behind the performer. You may lose a few by being honest and vulnerable, but those who remain have proven that they'll stick with you no matter what. So that's what it says in the old one. And in our new version, it says, music, laughter, the swirl of beautiful dresses. Tonight is a night free from care and the troubles of the outside world. Amongst the dancers, a single figure draws attention of everyone present. A flash of embroidered silk, the wave of a hand, a voice clear as a bell. Oh, there we go. We're back into it. The poet is life itself, pure and undulated. Instantly in love with every new person they meet. They are drawn to people just as people are drawn to them. A sonnet ready for every new spark of love. So we have a little bit with a bit more flair. So a little bit from the old and then new. There is love on the horizon, and it's up to you to embrace it. Whatever your hesitations, it's time to accept the heart-pounding, tumbling chaos that is opening yourself up to another. Write poems. Find your song. Love is a creative work. Be your imaginative, authentic self and let other like-minded people flock to you. This is when you will experience true happiness. Reversed, it says, this is an isolated poet. A poet who has been so careful to protect their heart that no one knows who they truly are. But vulnerability isn't something to be afraid of, rather a sign of being alive and of having things that are important enough to risk losing. Rather than letting yourself feel distanced and socially unsupported, it's time to reach out or to try and meet new people. So we have a very expanded guidebook and some really great imagery. Like the way that this is written, the way that Fez describes the scene is so good, you guys. It's just so good. It just brings me there. This is definitely like a catalyst for all kinds of creative energy. Okay, so last time, like I said earlier, I did a 3-card pull to show how if they could read by themselves, right? Or would we need a tarot companion with it? But now I know for sure it can read by itself. So we will do a reading in that same fashion. So we will do the situation, the obstacle, and advice. And I'm just going to let this be open, whatever is the most important. Okay. 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 So the situation, we have the witch, experimentation and rebellion. So the situation is that things are possibly getting a little out of hand right now. It may seem a bit chaotic. It may feel like the world is pushing against you and that you have to push right back. But I think that that's a misunderstanding, okay? The way that this situation feels is that there's all of this aggression, but most of it is assumed. It is like an assumption. There is no hostility from the other side. No one's forcing your hand, right? But there is something deep within your psyche, in your emotions, that makes everything feel like it's squeezing in. Anxiety, fear, whatever that may be, this is what we need to pay attention to, right? It's kind of dropping those borders, dropping down and realizing there's no one trying to keep you into a box. You have room to expand. You deserve the space that you're in, right? It's yours. No one can take that away from you, okay? But what kind of obstacles are you going to meet when trying to do this? We have the storyteller, viewpoints and control. The very same thing that you feel is going on right now is mostly coming from within the house, right? The call is from in the house. You are the one putting all this pressure upon yourself, right? And I think it's going to feel like everyone else is, but the viewpoint is yours solely, right? No one is looking to you to do every single thing, right? There is an obstacle within our own brains saying that people are saying this or people think that, or, you know, everyone is treating me this type of way because of this, and make up all these stories. You are your own storyteller. You got to cut that out. You got to cut it out. This is what's causing the situation, right? The key is shut that voice down. Is it fact or is it fear? Can it be proven? Do you know it to be true? You have to ask your questions, right? You have to ask all your questions. Because I think that it's just kind of playing off of this fear, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So your obstacle is going to be your own inner storyteller, okay? Shutting them down. So what's some advice? We have the botanist. Parenthood, legacy. All I can think about is someone working so diligently to take care of this beautiful plant. And they do this and it thrives, even though they know the flowers won't last forever. They're going to die, right? They're going to have to let certain things go. But it's okay because they're going to bloom again, right? It's this cycle of taking care of something until it's ready and then letting it go, right? That's that kind of parenthood I feel like it's bringing. And with this, in advice to this whole situation, this kind of bogged down energy, it's like you gotta shed some of this stuff. You got to let some of this go. This definitely feels like whatever is being held on to, while some of it is because of your anxiety level right now, of the pressure that you have on yourself right now, but there is still some left over from a long time ago. It's just kind of lagging there in the back, just making things heavier and heavier. And so it's about looking at the situation, kind of being the parent there, finding the facts, letting go of the fictions, breaking it apart piece by piece, just to build it back up so that it can go on and do its own thing, right? I'm sure you'll be back again. We're talking of cycles in this same spot. We always are. Anxiety is everywhere. We're never going to be completely out of it. But the more we learn to recognize it right at the beginning, the better it will be. Excuse me, that didn't want to come out. The better it'll be, right? So anyway, this, I could go on forever. Like, I don't know. There's something so intuitive and so in line with the whole, I'm going to air quote, the storytelling aspect of a reading, right? Because you do weave your narrative, especially in a situation like this where I am reading blind. So the energies that I'm picking up on, I'm not sure where they're coming from, but they're like the highest voice, right? And so I feel like these really do help tell the story and help you see kind of where that situation could be or how it could be an allegory for something in your life. So I really think that this is a phenomenal job as not only something that looks hella fun as a tabletop game, but is a serious divination tool, right? It is an oracle. And I appreciate the way that this was set up and the versatility of it. I'm a fan. I am a total fan. So that is the new Citadel deck. Let me know what you guys think of this. Coffee is the giver of life. Oh. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this flip through and talk about the Citadel Oracle. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think you're going to snag this one? Are you going to wait for the special edition? If you have this one, do you like this one better? Like, I want to know all the things. Tell me all the things. If you are looking for this deck or any of that information from Liminal 11 or Fez, I'm going to put that all in the description box below. As well as how to find me on other social medias, my Instagram and Etsy, how to book a reading with me, 3 Fat Readers, which if you are not following, you're missing out. It is myself and Lisa and Dustin from Lisa Pepez and Modern Metaphysique. We get together and talk about tarot and witchy things and hashtag all the things once a month. So if you are not following 3 Fat Readers, down below, go do that. Otherwise, I will talk to you all very soon. I'm sending you all my love. Mwah! Later, Gators.